Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to another edition of Soccer as We Like It, the Man United direction. As you know, it's a Tuesday afternoon tea time out here, but I like to say welcome and welcome and welcome. The season 2023 has ended and Man United have finished third, but there's also an opportunity to win another trophy. But as they always say, you reach for the stars. Don't settle. Reach high. Get the best. Don't settle. Reach for the best. And that's what Ten Hag has instilled in these United players in reference to we have won the Carabao Cup. Now there's an opportunity to win an FA Cup. That would be a double. Yes, United fans are saying um, they want to stop United winning the treble. But his mind is let's create our own era, our own legacy. Yes, we want United to be the only team that's won the treble. It's a very tough and good Manchester City team, but United can do this. Right, let's get right into it. If you're joining us for the very first time, don't forget to smash a like and subscribe to our channel. Thank you very much. And be part of this community, soccer as we like it, the Man United direction. But we're also open to other football fans and teams to join us in having a community of football, especially Man United fans, I would say, because it's a Man United channel. We reach out to all of them. So let's get right into it. Eric Ten Hag had an interview recently with the Daily Times with Henry Winter, a very reputable journalist, and he talked about so many things that a lot of us would have thought about and we were thinking about, and he analyzed it and brought it to the forefront. Let me see this. So it comes down to let me see this. It comes down to so many things. We will say Eric Ten Hag did emphasize that this, what he wants, his vision, his mission, what he plans to do. People say when he first took over the mantle at Manchester United, he was told that, it's not the Dutch league, this is the English league. You can't just do things like that, blah, 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 and blah, blah, blah. But he took it because the English press are very critical. We know that they are very critical. And sometimes there's a slight slant bias towards non-English managers. He had come from the Dutch league. He had just won the Dutch league title with Ajax. I think he's won one or two, but he did a great job there and played some scientific and mesmerizing football. But at the same time, coming to a league where the pace is fast, it's physical, it's one of the most competitive leagues in the world. It was a new gig for him. And it's a challenge. Every manager wants to come to the Premier League. Don't get me wrong. Every manager, anyone who says they don't want to come to the Premier League is either lying or they have a bias against the English league. Yes, it might not be the most technical, but it is also the most marketable and most watched. Right. So as I said, I was going to talk about was Eric Ten Hag's interview with the Daily Times, and he talked about so many things. Oh, bear with me. He talked about so many things. He talked about Man United. He talked about, the things that will improve the club, the things he knows. He needed certain players. He needed a certain style of play. If you all know, we can't forget. United's performance last season was absolutely abysmal. It was awful. It was absolutely a disgrace. It was the lowest position in Premier League history. I'm not saying pre-Premier League, which was 1993. I'm talking Premier League from 1993 to now. The performance was poor. It was dire. I mean, dire. We finished sixth, and we never even got to 60 points. We sacked two managers, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, an ex-manager, an ex-player who was supposed to be a legend. He is a legend at the club as a player, but as a manager, he was awful. Let's call it as it is. Let's stop walking on eggshells and trying to be politically correct and be polite. No, he failed as a manager. People are gonna say yes, he took us to two. We were runners up. He won less games. He lost less games than Eric Ten Hag, and that's absolute nonsense. You can't use that as a measuring stone to say how bad, how good, or how bad Man United were last season. So I will say this: as a United fan, seeing what we went through last season compared to this season is a relief. I'm so happy. But people said, "Oh, why are United? You're finishing third and you're excited." No, it's not about finishing third. It's about transition. In a space of 12 months, we've had 3 managers. That is transition. Like I was speaking to some of my Arsenal friends. They say, "Oh, you guys are clapping. You're laughing at us that we choked." But at the same time, you're clapping and celebrating third. We're not celebrating third. We're celebrating an improvement from sixth to third. We're celebrating from sixth to third. We're celebrating a trophy first in 6 years. That's what we're celebrating. We're celebrating the up movement, the movement going forward, the opportunity to be positive, the new embrace new football, a new mission, a new direction. That's what we're embracing. Yes, Arsenal were leading the league from week 3. It's a marathon, it's not a sprint, as they always say. But we are laughing because it was funny to us. It was literally hilarious. It was absolutely hilarious. They were already planning to celebrate open top bus and all that malarking lot of bollocks. But at the same time, I'll say this: we came from 6 Europa League, no Champions League. 6, not even getting to 60 points, mate. It was that bad. We were that dire. What was so funny? We relied on one man to deliver all the goals. Ronaldo scored 25. We thank him for that. But other than that, the whole team was an absolute mess. An absolute mess. Ole was fired. Ragnick came in, who was supposed to be a technical director, not a manager. Bear with me. He was supposed to be a technical manager, technical director of football to work with the new manager, not manage the team, because he's a team builder, a club builder. He knows, he has a very good wide scope of scouting network of players, potential players for clubs. That's why he builds clubs. But unfortunately, for some strange reason, it all went bloody left. When I say went left, he was appointed as a manager, and as a manager, he failed immensely. When I say he failed, the players just could not be bothered. They had down tools from so far back. The goals did not come. We did score. We did lose. So it was a kamikaze season last season. So to go from that to this is a point of joy for United fans globally, because we know what we saw last season. We were losing left, right, and center. We were losing like it was going out of fashion. That was how bad we were last season. We were that bad. So if you're just joining us, if you're watching, don't forget to smash a like, share our video, and don't forget to subscribe. We really appreciate you joining our community and subscribing. The channel is moving very fast because of your support to the channel, and I want to thank you. So keep smashing subscribe on our channel, and we really appreciate you for your time. So let me check a few things quickly before we go into the main course of our live show today. We are 4 days away from the FA Cup final, the first Manchester derby, the FA Cup final. There's never been 2 Manchester clubs. We've had Everton, Liverpool play in 86 and 88 FA Cup finals, which Liverpool won both, but we've never had a Manchester derby in an FA Cup final. And this is immense. This is epic. This is astronomical. This is great. It's the oldest cup competition in the world. Google it. I will stand on it. This is the oldest cup competition in the world, the FA Cup. So it has its prize. When I was growing up, the FA Cup had more, what's the word I'm looking for? Had more glamour. Winning the FA Cup had more glamour than winning the Old Division One title. I don't know why. It's the whole Wembley, going to Wembley, the Twin Towers, the road to Wembley. It used to be an all-day show on a Saturday. Then you see the teams coming to Wembley, coming out. It was tradition. It's a tradition, but now it's now league title. It's now Champions League. FA Cup has been moved down to number 3, which used to be number 1. But that's the evolving of the beautiful game. Who's joining us? Thank you for joining us. Thank you so much. Drop your comments. We'll read them as we go along. It won't be easy for us because I have to get into this interview. But those of you who understand why United fans are excited, we are excited because where we came from last season to where we are now. Like I said, I was speaking to Arsenal fans. They were saying, you guys are celebrating third. You guys, the money you guys spent, you should be challenging for the title. No, we can't challenge for the title of a guy who's just been in the club for 8 months. It's impossible. It's not possible. But you've had a manager who's been there 4 years and you led the title, you led the race for week 3 and bottled it and choked on it. So who should be in a better mood? Us. We haven't won a trophy in 6 years. The last manager to win a trophy was Mourinho. He won the Europa Cup, the League Cup, and the Community Shield. Other than that, Ole failed, Ragni failed, Carrick failed. I mean, Carrick managed 4 games and he won 3, drew 1. So he has a 100% record. But this is it. This is the beauty of the game. But we as United fans know what we've been through. We've been through the ringer with bad owners who refuse to invest in the club. That is why we are where we are today. Bad ownership, low investment, no investment. But there was, if you guys remember this summer, I think this summer, last summer, the summer before, when Jim Arnold, Tom Arnold, not Tom Arnold's an actor, said the Glazers have spent £1 billion in the club over the years. But when he goes to the training ground, he cannot see 1 billion worth of talent. Yes, because when you had people like Woodward who were just buying quantity and not quality and just buying shirt sellers, the likes of Falcao, Di Maria, a guy who never wanted to play for Man United, Mkhitaryan. We had so many bad players. It was just bad. It was just poor investment, giving players 6, 7 year contracts for what? And you don't even play them. The buy is the Phil Jones. You see what I mean? So it was overall bad. So when we fast forward where we've been to where we are, yes, it is cause for celebration. Absolutely cause for celebration. So any club fan, a Liverpool fan, a City fan, a Chelsea fan, a Tottenham fan, an Arsenal fan saying you guys should not be celebrating third, you need to go check yourself before you wreck yourselves. Because end of the day, last season it was an absolute nightmare. To go to this season, coming third, and a Carabao Cup, a cup we've not won in 6. We haven't won a trophy. I mean, we haven't won a sausage in 6 years. A club this size, this magnitude, we should always be competing with finals. Liverpool, did you guys realize? I just thought about it recently, right? Liverpool won the League Cup last season, the FA Cup, narrowly lost the league title on Super Sunday, went to Champions League final and lost to Real Madrid. They literally wanted to win the quadruple, which has never been achieved. They got there but couldn't do it. Empires are built, empires are ended. Empires are built, empires are ended. Every era, every dynasty starts, but sometime it will come to a drastic end. The Liverpool of the 80s, they were great. They won everything. They won everything. United were just occasionally winning the FA Cup. No one could touch Liverpool in the 80s. A few times Aston Villa won the league title. Who else won the league title? Nottingham Forest. But it was other than that, it was just Liverpool. We didn't even compete. We will compete when Brian Robson gets injured. Our season is over. Yes, Captain Marvel. I'm just giving you a breakdown of how bad we were in the 80s. That era ended. Then Sir Alex came over and made one statement. My job is to kick them off the fucking perch. He did it, won league titles. And in all that time, Liverpool never won a league title when United were dominant. We were the dominant force. We were number one. We lost the title narrowly to Blackburn on the final day of the season. I was at Upton Park when we could not beat West Ham. We needed to beat West Ham and hope Blackburn lose at Anfield. And they lost at Anfield, but we just could not get past Ludomir Klosko, the West Ham keeper. We ended up playing 1-1 and we needed 3 points, but it is what it is. Then we lost another final day game against Man City when uh, Aguero. That still rings a bell in my head. But that was it. It hurts when you lose on the final day of the season. See what I mean? It hurts so much when you lose on the final day of the season. But this is so. Please don't forget, if you're watching us live, don't forget to subscribe, like, and share with us, and continue to drop your comments. Tell us what you think about the season so far. Was it a successful season? Was it a bad season? Was it an average season by United standards? We're gonna go right into his interview right now. I just want to give you a little backdrop of why United fans are excited about this season so far, and we could even be more excited when we win the FA Cup on Saturday. That would be two trophies, top three. That's a fantastic season. Even Rio Ferdinand said it on his own channel, saying winning is showing a showpiece, a showcase, a silver, a trophy you won. You don't get prizes for coming second. You don't get prizes for coming third. We came second under Ole. We came second under was Marino, but there was nothing to show. But he had trophies to show. He had the Europa Cup, he had a league title, he had the Community Shield. Ole had nothing to show. Absolutely nothing. Not a sausage. Radnick, he was not even going to get anything. So that let's just shut that down. And although Radnick was in the Champions League, but other than Ronaldo scoring, no one was scoring goals. It was just Ronaldo and Champions League, and he got us to that stage. Other than that, we were going nowhere. That was how bad that team was last year. But he still got us 25 goals. The stats analysts did something like take away all Ronaldo's goals last season. We were finishing, head this out. When you take away Ronaldo's stats from last season or the season before, whatever it is now, the 25 goals on all competitions. We are not coming out group stage or Champions League. We are finishing 14th in the league title, in the league table. That is how bad we were last season. But we move on. We digress. We continue to what we're here to do to it. So I'm just giving every guy an outline of why United fans are excited about what we did this season. Coming third, got a trophy and an opportunity to win another trophy. That's the beautiful thing about it. We are going to Wembley. As you always hear that song, going to Wembley, we're going to Wembley. Man United are going to Wembley because we are going to Wembley on Saturday, and we're going to play one of our. This game, like, is going to be some of the players' biggest games of the careers. Because some have never been to a final before. Some have just experienced that by winning the Carabao Cup, beating Newcastle. But when you have seasoned players, the Casemiros, Veron, these players have won 4, 5 Champions Leagues. He's played in a World Cup final. So these big game players mentally know what it is to get to a cup final and win a cup final. There's one thing turning up, there's one thing leaving there with a trophy. Nobody remembers the person who came second. No, they don't. So I will say this as we get into this interview of Eric Ten Hag was carried out by Henry Winter of the Daily Times, a very reputable journalist, and he sat down with Eric Ten Hag analyzing the season. So we're going to start off what Eric Ten Hag did say. He talked about Mason Greenwood. He talked about transfers. He talked about David De Gea. He talked about Harry Maguire. He also talked about um, he talked about the heavy defeat and the mentality of the club. He's talked about so many things. So we're gonna dissect his interview point by point of what he mentioned and what he talked about. First of all, he was asked about Mason Greenwood. He did say Mason Greenwood is a very good player. He scored 36 goals in 130 matches for Manchester United, and saying that we would need another goal. It would take if he said Marcus Rashford has done a great job, has had an absolute great season. But at the same time, we need somebody else who could score the goals. We all know Ten Hag is a very big fan of Harry Kane from Spurs. Can Harry Kane come to Spurs? It would be a great asset to have him in because United struggle with a striker. Marcus Rashford is not a centre forward. He's a inside left. He's kind of like, I would say, Henry, the great Henry from Arsenal. I would say that. Henry was a great player. The reason Henri did not win Ballon d'Or because during his era there were so many great players, so it was hard to give Henri Ballon d'Or. But Henri was another player. He was on another level. That guy was phenomenal. I hated when he scored against United. Oh my God, it hurt because the guy was immense. He was actually immense for Arsenal in the glory the Arsenal days under Arsene Wenger. But I'll say this: what? So he's Ten Hag has emphasized that we would need another striker to help score goals. So when he said um, he going forward he's capable of scoring. Is capable of scoring goals. He scored 36 goals in 30 games, 130 games for United. He said it's not down to him whether Greenwood returns to the club. It's not his call. It's not his choice. It's the club who would decide if Mason Greenwood. We've done this poll so many times. So many people still don't believe Mason Greenwood should be allowed back at Manchester United. Even the players, some of them have daughters, don't want Mason Greenwood back in the dressing room. They have to fix that issue first. That culture within the dressing room has to be fixed first. The fans, when you go to away grounds, you will get booed. So do United really want that? Do they really need that atmosphere around them currently? Left to me, I would loan him out first, then bring it back in if that. It's not my call. It's my opinion. It's my suggestion. But bringing him back next season, I think it would be just a bit too far for Man United fans to do. We all heard the tape. Yes, he's with that lady. Yes, they're going to marry each other. They're going to have a baby. But the actions were still intended. The incident still happened. Yes, charges were dropped. Yes, everything's all hunky dory, flowers and roses, a nice bed of lilies and roses. It's all nice and dandy, but at the same time, the incident did happen. But we're not going to go too deep into that. But he has said he does see Mason Greenwood as a very talented player, but it's not his decision. He also says United need a striker. We can't rely on Marcus Rashford, right? What did he change about Marcus Rashford? He changed Marcus Rashford's culture about the club, telling Marcus Rashford that to be the player you are today, your culture, your thinking, he had to be given motivation. He had to change his fitness. He said he's a very good footballer, but at the same time, he also mentioned that he let the guy know the culture of the club demands you to be a better player. And we can all see 30 goals. Man United's player of the season. Man United players voted him as the player of the season. And it's all good, all roses and flowers to him. I'll raise my cup of tea up to you, mate. So, as we were saying, um, he was asked about the transfers. He said, yes, United have spent this summer. They bought Anthony, they bought Casemiro, they bought Malaysia, they bought Martinez, but nothing was done in the winter. This was when other teams improved. And that's where United kind of lost the momentum. And we ended up getting loan deals like the Workhorse, Sabitzer, Butland. I mean, Sabitzer wasn't bad, but Workhorse was an absolute joke, mate. And let's be honest, we love his work ethic. We love the way he chases down, but that guy could not hit a barn door, even if uh, he had goggles this big. You saw the sitter he missed against Fulham. Yes, players miss, but I'm sorry, mate. He doesn't. He played, I would say, about 25 Premier League games. And this goes in goal. His goals came in Carabao Cup, Europa League, and that was it. Other than that, he did not score. Did he create? Maybe so, but he was not a great player. He was horrible. Yes, we would. If he scores the winning goal, I had this debate on Sunday with the United fans in Houston, the Houston Red Army, and we said, if Workhorse scores the winning goal against Man City, does he become a legend and hero? Some said he becomes a hero, but not a legend. Yeah, there's a difference between hero and legend. He'll be a hero and will remain in the United's folk history as the guy who delivered the FA Cup and broke the treble chain of Manchester City. But he won't be a legend. You're still going to send him off? They say yes. They'll still like, thank you for scoring the goal that won the FA Cup, but goodbye and good night. He just wasn't a good player. So what Ten Hag has said is that we did spend money in summer, but we didn't do anything in the winter. We did loan deals. And if you look at the loan, Sabitzer, he was a hit and miss, but I thought Sabitzer was okay. I'll give him a 6 out of 10. Butland barely played, so waste of time, waste of space. So you have to be competitive with all the sides. So he was saying that United need to be more aggressive. And he said one thing, and I like the way he emphasized it. I need signings. He's saying that to the Glazers. I need signings. That is a very powerful word from Eric Ten Hag. Ole never said I need signings. Jose said it after throwing half the team under the bus, saying, "Listen, we are this bad because we don't have this sign." Da da da. You see, to be in a position to bargain, you have to deliver. I'm like, if my top salesman, if I run a company, my top salesman, he's been the top salesman for the last 2 quarters. For him to say, if you want me to be the top salesman for the next couple of quarters, I would need these more tools, these more apps, these more gadgets. That's what Ten Hag is saying. I need signings. When he's saying I need signings, he's literally telling the Glazers, this crap you pulled this season is not going to fly going forward. The mission and the vision to achieve greatness for this club would need, I need signings. You can't put it any blunt. We are still in disarray in terms of ownership. We want Jassim, 100% ownership. Glazers out. Glazers out. We want that ownership from Jassim, not 3 year. You're gonna stay in the club for 3 years and own. No, we're done. We are done with the Glazers. We are so done. So Jassim, 100% ownership, new stadium, new facilities, and let's get this party started. But that's what we are literally hoping and believing and praying and needing that to happen. But back to what Ten Hag said, we did not spend in the winter, and that did hamper United's to make a strong challenge. Even though it was his first season, he did well for his first season. Let's call it what it is. A lot of fans don't want to admit it. It's only now they're saying, you know what, Eric Ten Hag had for the first time in the Premier League, he did a great job. Of course, he did a fantastic job in his first season. Let's call it as it is. Klopp in his first season, what? He came eighth. He didn't. He was runners up for 2 seasons back to back to back. It was after time he started to build his team. The management were able, the ownership were able to provide him the tools. He won the league title when there was no fans in the stadium. He won a Champions League. He won a League Cup. He won an FA Cup. He won the World Club Super Cup. He won European Super Cup. He's won all the trophies. Now think about it. Klopp can't say Klopp is a legend at United. Sorry, I take it. Klopp is a legend at Liverpool. He won them the league title. They hadn't won since 1990. He won them the Champions League. He won them an FA Cup. He won them a League Cup. He won them a Community Shield. He won them a World Club Championship. He won them European Super Cup. Bro, 7 trophies. The guy's a legend at Anfield. So this season, he messed up. You could let that slide. You could let that slide. It is what it is. But this is the football. So he's saying, Ten Hag says, I need signings. Those 3 words are very powerful. He's not saying the club. He says, I need signings. What he's trying to tell you is, I don't care what you do, how you see it, how you want to believe it. I need signings. Enough said by Ten Hag. Then he talked about De Gea. David De Gea, the man who won best shot stopper. He won the Golden Glove for the Premier League as the most shutouts, the most not conceding goals, as in had clean sheets. He had the most clean sheets this season. But yes, it was down to him. But you got to also ask about the people who put out war. Martinez, Varane, Dalot, Luke Shaw, Ambasaka, Casemiro, them people. And Victor Lindelof, them people I mentioned did a great job, especially the first 5 I mentioned. Lindelof, no, Martinez, Varane, Dalot, Luke Shaw, then Wan-Bissaka. They played a very pivotal role in making sure that United defense didn't. We last season we were leaking goals like a tap that had a busted pipe. We were that bad. Then you want to talk about the calamity in the Europa League. That was an absolute disaster. So David De Gea was voted top stopper 2023. Golden glove, whatever you want to call it. Best most clean sheets. More than Liverpool keeper, more than City keeper, more than Chelsea keeper, more than Spurs, more than Newcastle. But this is the catch. Eric Ten Hag says, it's not what I want, it's what top football demands nowadays. The biggest teams have to be capable of playing from the back. Let that sit for you in a minute. Let that sit for a minute. Just what this. Let that sit for a moment. It's not what I want, it's what top football demands nowadays. The biggest teams have to be capable of playing from the back, which means to say, goalkeepers like Edison and Allison, both City and Liverpool keepers, play the ball from the back and use the keeper as a +1. It's so simple for teams to put you under pressure when you just keep lobbing the ball forward. He goes on to say, the girl will be here next season without a doubt. He may not always be my number one. So Ten Hag, right? This guy is so sly. He's as sly as a fox, I would say. A fox. He makes his points, but there's a but and an underline highlighted apostrophes, capital letters written in there to say, this also means this. You see what I mean? It's not what I want. It's what top football demands. As a big club as United, a goalkeeper has to be capable of playing from the back. That alone tells you, yeah, I need a goalkeeper who can play from the back. And mate, you are not it. A goalkeeper is a +1. It's so simple for teams to put you under pressure if you don't play the ball from the back as a goalkeeper. So a goalkeeper should naturally start playing like a player, outfield player. He will be here next season. He will be here next season. But not always my number one. Just when you say, oh yeah, he ain't gonna be sold, I'm gonna be here next season. But you're not always gonna be number one. Because a club this size, there's got to be competition always. You need doubles for every position. Sit on that for a minute. Let that marinate with you. Let that marinate. Let me break it down the street language. What the geezer's trying to tell you, mate, is you might be the business, but you ain't the business. You might be number one. You might have won the Golden Glove, but mate, you can't kick a ball from the back. So I might need to get somebody else who could do a job about kicking the ball because football demands it these days. That's all he's saying in a street lingo. Like I said, this guy, he's smart. And Terry Hawk, he's very smart. So I'll end up that last statement. The guy will be here next season. He may not always be number one because a club this size, there must be competition always. He's answered all your questions, mate. Now he talks about Harry Jacob Maguire. I respect him for his professionalism and the standards, and he understands the status of his club as an England international, as the club captain. He has, unfortunately, he has high competition with Varane, who is fantastic. Ouch! I thought that was deep. That one hurt me like a pin and needle. He said he has high competition with Varane, who is fantastic. Ouch! That cut me like a blade. You know what I mean? You know when a blade cuts you or a mosquito stings you and you're like, oh, what's that? He has high competition with Varane. who is fantastic, who has won 4 Champions Leagues. Ooh, ouch. It must be hard for him. Ouch. Oh, he literally just said, boom. He literally said, I respect you for your professionalism. I understand you're an international player for England, but there's a high competition with Varane, who is fantastic. I'm thinking, this guy did not just say that. I mean, can you imagine that? He's literally just said, boom. I respect him for his professionalism. He understands the issues with the club. He's an international player for England. But he has a high competition with Varane, who is fantastic. A guy who has won, he even measured 4 Champions Leagues. 1, 2, 3, 4. It must be hard for him. Oh, so he's showing some empathy in his words. No player will be happy with his situation. No player wants to be. Think about it. Harry Maguire used to be the business. He was always number one on Ole's books. Number one and number one and number one and number one and number one. But Ole was confused. Ole really, let's call it as is. Ole was completely confused. As bad as he was, I will never forget that game we played Leicester City at the King, the King, whatever stadium it is, and they passed the ball to Harry Maguire. He stood there waiting for the ball. He was dispossessed. Tillemans, thank you very much. I'll have that and a bag of chips. We lost that game 5-2. But it's those mistakes. Harry Maguire pulling his own player up the way. He was a mess, but it was never addressed. Yes, he has a good header. Even that, no. Even sometimes when he's trying to head, he kicking Pogba's head off, nearly taking Ronaldo's face out. So the guy was a bit clumsy. He wasn't the top defender, and it is what it is. So that's why I say this manager, he's so smart, but he wants to put the truth in. He's like that kind of guy. Like, you are great, you did a fantastic job today, but you need to do better. Just when you think like, I'm the MVP, I'm the man of the people. He said, yes, but you're not really. It's like, oh dang. I respect his professionalism and he understands the club. He's an England international. He has high competition with Varane, who is fantastic, who has won 4 Champions League. 1, 2, 3, 4. It must be hard for Harry. No player will be happy with this situation. He trains very well. He comes early. He's very professional. A decision has to be made. He has to make that decision. He's literally saying, Harry, there's space for you in the squad, but you ain't starting, mate. I mean, if that ain't an undertone, I mean, Harry, when they interviewed him, said, it's all right being. This was the first time I've seen Harry being a bit humble. This was a guy who majestically, sanctimoniously said recently, I don't have to prove anything to United players, to United fans. Motherfucker, who told you that, mate? But this is what it is. So, when you've been driving a Mercedes all this time, and you pull up to the Mercedes dealership and they say, sir, we're going to have to downgrade this Mercedes. We gave it to you as a loan, as, to advertise. You've given this car a bad reputation. We're going to have to drop this down to a Ford Fiesta. That's where it is. Ole gave him a Mercedes and he was cruising 2 miles an hour. Everybody sees me. But at the same time, Eric Ten Hag said, when he drove in with the Mercedes, Eric Ten Hag said, mate, we need to have a quick chat. We have another car. Valet, bring the car. And Harry, you're going to be driving this for the couple of times. So here's your Ford Fiesta. I was like, what the hell? I mean, this small car? What is going on? Mate, I love this statement so much. I have to repeat it. I love his professionalism. He understands. He's an England international. He has a high competition with Veron, who is fantastic, who has won 4 Champions League. It must be hard on poor Harry. He trains hard. He comes to the training. He's professional. He trains 100%. He has. He's the club captain. But at this decision, he will be in the squad as a squad player. He ain't gonna be a regular. He ain't gonna be started. He's gonna be like this is the ranking. Veron, Martinez, even and Lucia, Lindelof, then Ari. Like I said, he's gone from Mercedes, Volkswagen Golf, an Audi, whatever, and that Ford Fiesta. That's a big drop. But it's just that Rolls Royce, Bentley, Aston Martins are better than Ford Fiestas, mate. It's that obvious. So in this situation, he will be part of the squad. We'll be happy to have him, but it's his decision to make, which is literally saying, mate, you need to decide what you want to do. But I'm not starting you, mate. You'll be in the squad, but I'm not starting you. You can't be ahead of Veron, Martinez, Lindelof, Luke Shaw. Sorry, bro. Nah, you're going to be a stopgap. And that's deep. It's his decision to make. So, Harry, Mr. Harry Jacob Maguire, if you want to be a squad player, that's all right, mate. But you're not going to start. I feel your captaincy is going to be stripped. I'm sorry. The Mercedes has been taken. You're now in a Ford Fiesta. So above you is Rolls Royce, Aston Martin, Porsche, Mercedes, then Ford Fiesta. That's where you are. I'm sorry, mate. It is what it is. I'm just saying what Ten Hag said. It's a decision he needs to make, which means you can stay here as long as you like, but you're not starting. That's what he's trying to say. Yes, you can see this. Thank you, guys. Thank you for your comments. Keep them coming in. Don't forget to subscribe if you haven't subscribed while you're watching our channel. Thank you very much. We are talking about Eric Ten Hag's exclusive interview with Henry Winter in the Daily Times. We've talked about what he said about De Gea. We talked about what he's talking about. We're just finishing what he's talking about Harry Maguire. Now we're going to talk about. We talked about what he said about Mason Greenwood. So we're going to talk about some heavy defeats. He said when he took over the club, that defeat against Brentford, we got hammered 4-0. You know, it was so funny, right? They were already calling for his head after one game. Excuse me. Then we lost the second game to Brighton at home. Brighton, yeah, really, that Brighton. Yeah. Under Potter. 2 games, 2 defeats, bottom of the table, 0 points, 6 goals conceded. We were the laughing stock after game 2. Arsenal fans, City fans, Liverpool fans, you're getting relegated. This guy doesn't know what he's doing. I mean, really? It's 38 games in a season, and you are criticizing Ten Hag, who has just come from another league to Premier League to take over a club the size of this, Manchester United. Prior to him, we had Carrick, 4 games, 3 wins, 1 draw. Ragnick, don't want to go there. Ole, don't want to go there. So the knives were already out. They were already sharpening the knives. Like we said, this guy was rubbish, but it was something he had to experiment. He had Lindelof and Maguire, or Maguire and Martinez. I'm not sure which of them played for the Brentford game, but we were humiliated, decimated, decapitated, obliterated, and terminated. That was how bad we were against Brentford. While you're watching, don't forget to subscribe to our channel. Thank you very much. We really appreciate you and really appreciate the support you've given to this channel. I will read out the comments as I go over this when we go through this interview, but I'll thank you all individually. Thank you very much. So the defeat to Brentford, he said, was painful. He said he realized there was a culture of finger pointing and gesticulating. We all know those players who constantly keep pointing fingers and saying, "Where were you? Why were you not there? It's your fault." We all know those players. Bruno does it a lot. Maguire does it a lot. No one takes responsibility. He said it was becoming a culture of when players mess up, they constantly keep pointing fingers at each other instead of getting together and say, listen, let's get this show on the road. It became unacceptable. I had to tell the players this is not acceptable. He said in the past, he has seen managers say when a team loses, oh, the players were poor. When they win, I did a great job. He says his style of management, when we lose together. When we win together. That is fantastic. That is absolutely fantastic. Okay, Jose Mourinho will throw everybody under the bus. The whole heritage speech, we all remember that heritage speech, blah, 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 blah. And they told him, on your bike, son, we'll see you next time, and a bag of chips. Goodbye and good night. Thank you, guys. Keep your comments coming. Thank you very much. I will read them out once I finish. When I'm in that zone, so keep worry. I will give you all a good shout out. Thank you very much. Keep your comments coming. Don't forget to subscribe if you haven't. Thank you so much. So we're talking about Erik ten Hag's fantastic interview with Henry Winter of the Daily Times. He talked about Maguire. He talked about De Gea. He talked about the culture of the club. He talked about Mason Greenwood. He talked about, we're talking about what he said about that humiliating defeat to Brentford. He was saying the culture had to change. He realized when they lose, heads drop, they point each other, point fingers, they gesticulate, and he said that was just a bad culture that had to be eradicated, which he done. So he had to instill a culture of winning, a culture of don't let your heads drop, a culture of listen, you can do this. Don't think of it, just do it. Like Nike said, just do it. Stop thinking about it. He had to get the weak players out, the disruptive players out, and put the mentally strong players in the field to keep winning. He said the defeat of Brentford was unacceptable. Because think about it. You lost 4-0, newly promoted team. His debut in the Premier League, and the press went out for him. United lose, new manager takes United backwards. New manager, they went out for him. The knives were out for him. They were sharpening the knives like this. Okay, we'll give you till December. You guys probably going to be out by then. They were sharpening the knives that bad at that time. But he had to go deep and say, listen, he saw the mistakes Harry was making. He saw the guys' inability to read their game. Because Harry Maguire is, Harry Maguire is a reactive player, not a proactive player. He doesn't see the danger ahead. He only reacts when the danger is right in front of him. At times, sometimes, because the pace is so football and players today are so technically smarter, you have to have a vision. That is why players like Varane, Martinez, even Lindelof are more proactive than reactive. But what we did realize even this season, when Harry plays with Lindelof, it's more like both of them don't work. Under Ole, we saw the mistakes week in, week out, week in, week out. And because Ole wasn't a great person of talent like that, he didn't know how to fix it. He was playing on a wing on a prayer. Soak the pressure, kick the ball out, and we run fast like Ben Johnson. What's it? Usain Bolt. Read this quickly. See this. Thank you very much. Yes, he is the best man for the job. So as I was saying, that defeat to Brentford was a waking up for him. He said in his mind, he thought like, oh wow. And he realized that press don't hold prisoners. They would dissect you to pieces, mate. It's like, when we all did biology sciences, when you're dissecting a frog, you take out the heart, take out the legs, and you stretch it out and start looking at the heart, how the heart beats. They dissected him like, oh, he came from a Dutch league. This is the Premier League, mate. You are taking United to the dark days. 2 games in a row, home and away. Oh, man, this guy, he will last Christmas. But he had to dig deep. And he said that culture of finger pointing was unacceptable. Then we had the disruption of Ronaldo, blah, blah, blah. We're not going to dig into all that. He just said it wasn't good enough. He said, and we all remember, after that game against Brentford, he joined them. They had to do a 10-mile run. We were second to balls. Brentford bullied us off the ball. They took the ball off us. They were there in the element, in front of the whole world. We were humiliated. We were embarrassed on national TV by Brentford 4-0. He said that's unacceptable. So after that game, there was no day off on the next day. It was 10-mile run. You guys need to be sharper. You need to work harder. You need to be better. You need to bring it all out and represent the badge. Then humiliating defeats like the 7-0 at Anfield, which is psychologically scarring. It's all about what you tell the players. He said his emotion. He lets the players know his emotions. When they are bad, when they're underperforming, he sits there and stares at them like, what the hell and what the fuck are you guys doing? And when they win, when they score, he shows the emotion, which he says transfers to the players on the pitch, that you're on the right path. Keep doing it. Keep doing it. He's that manager. When he's not happy, he sits down. With Ole sits down watching the monitor screen, legs crossed like he's having a Sunday cup of tea, or watching Neighbours, or watching Coronation Street. You see what I mean? His reaction was nothing. Ole just sat there. Yes, every manager has a style. I get it. You also saw Alex pointing at his watch, like, listen, get this shit done. We have so much little time left. That was Sir Alex. Alex was all over. He would tell you, you are effing up. You are absolutely messing up. Then he'll put an arm around you. You did a great job. Eric Ten Hag, he will sit there like, get this shit done. Yes, you did a great job. Yes, you did a fantastic job. Keep on doing it, son. Keep on doing it. That's Eric Ten Hag's style of management. He said, I speak to Eric. He said, when asked about Sir Alex Ferguson, I speak to him a lot. And what he did, he had the best way of his attitude, his winning mentality. He said he learned from Alex Ferguson that winning mentality, the culture, the high standards, setting the bar that high. And that's what he's trying to do for Man United, setting the bar high, maintaining the winning standard, creating a generational era of a dynasty. That's what he wants to do. But remember what he said earlier that I read, I need signings. He said it. I need signings. There's no sugarcoating here. I need signings. I need signings. He's talking to these clowns. He's talking to them. But as we all know, when you have a clown and a joker in a circus, it's organized chaos. And that's where this club is. But he has tried with the tools he's been given. We've got a first trophy in 6 years. You know what's so funny? What I find quite hypocritical and double standards. When Man City was winning the Carabao Cup 4 or 5 times out of the last 6 years, no one called it a crap cup. Did Man City care? No. A trophy is a trophy. There was one season, Man City won FA Cup, Carabao Cup, and the League Cup. I mean the league title, the domestic treble. I don't think any United fan was laughing at them. We didn't win shit. We didn't win anything. One thing I do know about Man United fans, we know when we need to shut our mouth up. We know that. The real United fans know when to shut the fuck up and when to like, I'm gonna be like you. We know. We know those days. when Man City could not hold our laces. They could not even catch our jockstrap. They were that bad. Then when 2008 came around and they got a new owner, it became Man City reboot. Prior to that, they were relegated like what, 3 times? They had players like Sean Gota. I'm trying to remember players they had. They were such a bad side. Then all of a sudden, a team that didn't have fans. Oh, I'm a Man City fan. I'm a Man City fan. Bloody hell, mate. Where were you prior to 2008? I never saw you. But they all came out of the woodwork. I'm a City fan. Oh, la, la, la. But the good thing about Man City, and I will say this, I'm an honest United fan, and I say it as it is. While you're watching, please don't forget to subscribe. I really appreciate it. Keep your comments coming because I'm going to read them all out. Even though they had bought a new manager in 2008, they had Mark Hughes, who bought players like Rubino and all some players. Even the guy from Arsenal, I can't remember his name. The striker, I can't remember his name. If you know, guys, drop it in there. So Mark Hughes did try. They did do a bit well. Then they sacked Mark Hughes. Then they got another manager. I forget his name now. He won a league title. That was the Aguero situation. He got fired. They got another guy who won a league title, Pellegrini. He won them 2 league titles. He got fired. Then they got Pep. So all the managers they had from 2008, apart from Mark Hughes, won them a league title. See what I mean? It wasn't like they were not winning league titles. They were winning league titles. They just wanted, they kept elevating. And even Alex Ferguson realized, like, oh shit, this team is getting hard to compete with. Remember, they beat us on the final day of the season in 2012. Yeah, they beat us on goal difference because Aguero scored. And that season, it was Wayne Rooney. We didn't have a great team. Then what does Alex Ferguson go and get? RBP, Robin Van Persie. And we now win the league title the following year. Then he retires. And the lights all went out. The lights went. Then we got David Moyes. He won us the Community Shield. First season, he got fired. Then we got the guy with the guy with the notepad, Louis van Gaal, the Dutch master. He had managed great teams, Champions League with Ajax, won league titles with Barcelona. He was a great guy. Dutch guy, very imposing figure, very, opulent in his way of talking, blah, 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 blah. He said it as it is, arrogant, confident. His record and his resume, CV spoke for itself. He was a serial winner. Right? He was a serial winner. Okay. But the funny thing was, the players we acquired under Louis van Gaal were just not really good players. Di Maria, who never wanted to be here. Falcao, injury prone. Schneiderlin. He was rubbish. He was really bad. Then we had we had some very bad players. I'll tell you that. We were really bad. We were really bad under Louis van Gaal. But there was a course of young players. Then we got Martial, young Radford. He gave those players their chances when we had, because he got rid of Van Persie. He got rid of Nani. And the funny thing was, if I take it back a bit, just take it back. While you're watching, don't forget to subscribe, please. Thank you very much. I really appreciate you. Like our video and smash a like on our video. Thank you so much. When Moyes took over United, as soon as Alex Ferguson recommended him. But when I think about it now, Moyes hadn't won anything prior. I get that. But I do think United sacked him probably a bit too soon. I think we should have given him probably one more season. But the mistake Moyes made was getting rid of the backroom staff of Man United, of Alex Ferguson, who were winners, who knew how to get a team to win. He got rid of players like Rio, and they had just remember he had just inherited a team that just won a league title, and he took them to what, sixth, seventh. He got fired. Then Giggs took over. He was fired too, if you want to call it that. Then we got Louis Van Gaal, nice Dutch guy, like I said. He had the credentials. His CV showed he's won league titles in Barcelona. He's won the Dutch title. He's won Champions League. So he was a reputable manager, and he fits the guy who could carry this uh, albatross around your neck. As in, big Dutch guy. I've done it all before. This is not an easy job. I could take care of this job, not a problem. But when they provided him the money, he bought rubbish. That was what went wrong. Then he got us an FA Cup. That was our first FA Cup since 2004. We hadn't won an FA Cup in the last FA Cup we had won was under Ferguson in 2004 when we beat Millwall 3-0. Other than that, we went to a final and lost on penalties to Arsenal, one of the most one-sided FA Cup finals ever, whereby Arsenal had 2 shots on target in 120 minutes. We had 25 shots, 35 shots on target, and the ball would not go in, and we lost on penalties. But that is not, and that is a discussion for another day. He won us an FA Cup, but he got fired. He heard about the FA Cup. He heard about his firing on Sky News, that he's been fired. It just shows how bad the club was run. Woodward was an absolute waste of space and time, but it is what it is. So when you fast forward Louis Van Gaal, we got to a final with Mourinho. We lost to Chelsea. That was a calamity between Phil Jones and De Gea. I want to think about that one. 2018. Yes. So United have transitioned, but we don't do enough to get quality. We're just buying quantity and shirt sellers and shirt sellers and shirt sellers. That's all we're just doing. And in today's society, it's not the way forward. Not for a club the size of this. Then the special one came. He was already pissed that United did not select him. They selected Moyes. So he already came with an attitude, as in, I'm the special one. I've gone to 4 different countries and I've won league titles and blah blah blah. Yes, you have. But this United is it's a completely different kettle of fish. Too many moving parts. You have to be in control of it. He couldn't control the club because times had changed. Players were different from when he was managing Chelsea 04-05. He got fired there. It is what it is. So he was in that situation whereby he was very outspoken. He was very, very outspoken. Mourinho, he sometimes created a toxic environment for players, throwing them under the bus, throwing the ownership under the bus. He was very outspoken. Then the whole heritage speech came in, and we all know what happened after the heritage speech. Yes, he gave us the Europa Cup, which we had never won previously under any previous manager. So he won us a League Cup, beating Southampton 3-2. We got Ibrahimovic. He was a good player, good centre forward. Had a bad injury. We had Lukaku. We had Lingard. We had Rashford. We had Martial. Blah, blah. Then we went to go and get Sanchez. Oh, my bloody God. Now, that was taking the fucking piss. This piano player was earning 400 a week, and he's got 5 goals in 47 games. I mean, what the fuck was that about? That's what I mean. God was absolute rubbish. I mean, absolute rubbish. I could stand on that today. 5 goals in 14 games? Give me a bloody break, mate. Then the special one got fired. Well, he came left with 3 trophies and kept saying, I won trophies. Then we've got an ex-player, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, the guy who gave us the treble in 1999 Champions League final goal against Bayern Munich. Ole played under Alex, whereby it was trophy galore, winning trophies, league titles, Champions Leagues, FA Cups, League Cups. For him to sit there on that stage and say it's not about winning trophies, oh, that for me, just as Heritage was Jose Mourinho's downfall, it's not about winning trophies was Ole's downfall too. When you say that kind of negative energy, it's not about winning trophies. Obviously, it's going to transfer to the players. Like, we don't need to win this trophy. Our manager said it's not about winning trophies. It's about we're being top four. He converted us from United to Arsenal. Oh no, that we were not having that. Oh no, we were not having that. Great player, bad manager. No, what anyone says, even when we were close, when we came second against Man City, it was a goal. It was an ocean between Man United and Man City. But when Mourinho said coming second was one of his greatest achievements, we all laughed at him like, is this guy for real? United don't do second. When you look at the players he had, Valencia, uh, what was this guy's name? I forgot his name. We had this South American centre back. I can't remember his name now. He was brutal. He was a good tackler, but he was all over the place. Then we have the Chuckle brothers, Smalls and Phil Jones. They were at the pivotal point of heart of United's defense under Mourinho. They were really bad. You know what I mean? Then we had the Dutch centre back. He was really good. He wasn't the tallest guy, but he could read the game. His reading of the game was absolutely astronomical. He was really good. He was really good. So when Ole got Maguire, he got Wan-Bissaka. We had Jose Mourinho got Lindelof. So there was Rashford. Then there was Pogba. Jose Mourinho brought Pogba. I remember Jose Mourinho saying, "If I had a player like Pogba, I'll build my team around him." Ole, do you really know how to? Are you sure? Talk is cheap, mate. When you got the job, I didn't see you building no team. All I saw you doing was sit back and run the ball down the line and try and cross the ball and hit. We were defending even at home to teams like Fulham. We will sit back against Fulham. How dare you? And you say you have the audacity and effrontery to say United are not about winning trophies. Oh, get the hell out of here, mate. At that point, Ole was on borrowed time. You can't tell a club the size, the magnitude, astronomical measurement parameter of this club to say it's not about winning trophies. It is bloody about winning trophies. It is. We win trophies. Under Alex Ferguson, we did not discriminate against trophies. It's about competing, getting to the final and getting the trophy. Alex Ferguson won League Cup, FA Cup, Champions League, league titles, Cup Winners' Cup, Community Shield. Everything was a battle. It was putting your name, building your dynasty, building an era of winning, putting that winning mentality in the players. But this clown had no clue. He was talking about it's not about winning trophies because he was trying to talk back about Mourinho. Mourinho was right. It's about the trophies. No one remembers you coming second. No one remembers you being a runner up. They remember you lifting a trophy. That's what they remember. And that's what the books remember. So Ole, you fucked up big time, mate. We're not gonna digress too much. The point I'm making is Eric Ten Hag's mentality. He said he visits Alex Ferguson and learns from the guy because this guy's the greatest manager of all time. It is a known fact. I see some clowns comparing Pep with Alex. Any guy who is comparing Pep with as come and call me, we do this debate live on air because I will prove out the stats. Pep took over a team that was already winning league titles. Alex Ferguson took over a team that hadn't won a league title in 26 years. It's like building from ground up. You had the money already sitting there. It's like, here's the key to the treasure hunt, the treasure chest. Get who you want, when you want, how you want, when you want. Alex Ferguson didn't have that. Look at the team that won the league title last for Man United. Look at that team. And you tell me that team playing today would have won that title. No, it was his man management, his motivation skills, his inspiration, his cultural training of the mindset of never give up. When you wear that badge, you have to prove yourself week in, week out. Even Ronaldo said it. Even as much as he has won so much, he said, when I made my debut the second time for Man United against Newcastle, I was nervous compared to when he started in 2004 when he made his debut against Bolton as a young 17-and-a-half-year-old player. He was now 37, 20 years later, saying, I felt butterflies. It tells you the pressure and magnitude and expectations when you cross that line to play for Manchester United. But when you have players who tell you, I don't have to prove anything. Oh, no. That there was goodbye and good night, mate. That there by Ari was goodbye and good night. I don't have to prove anything. Get the fuck out of there. So, Eric Ten Hag says, when I speak to Alex Ferguson, I look at his winning mentality, his attitude with the players, making them believe, making them know. You have to go there and win. Your heads will not drop. I'm not saying Man United players did not lose under Ferguson. If you're going to lose with a fight. Don't just go down, get your trousers pulled down and get spanked on your bottom. No, you go there and put a fight because you're representing Manchester United Football Club, one of the greatest teams in the world. To be in that club is an honor. For you to be selected is an honor. Don't take the fucking piss. That's what he's saying. So he's learning from Alex, building, like he said, to us. Beating Man City on Saturday is us trying to stop them winning the treble. Yes, it's a great trophy to win, but Eric Ten Hag is telling us, I want to win a double and I want to build an era and a dynasty and a culture of winning mentality. That's what he's trying to say. To him, yeah, they're a great team. You heard his announcement after the game against Fulham. He needs us to believe in this team, and the players need to believe in themselves that they can beat Man City. It's going to be war, and I mean it's going to be war. Red and blue, who's going to come out of the loo? It's that simple, mate. It's one way into Wembley, it's one way out. You're going in there, only one person's coming out of a trophy, either red or blue. It's going to be bloody war on Saturday, June 3rd. One team wants to win the treble, one team wants to win the double. It is what it is. If he wins it, if we win it, can we win it? Yes, we can. I think we can. I know we can. These guys know they need to believe in themselves. And Ten Hag said it. I want to instill the winning mentality. They've had to feel what it is to lift a trophy. They haven't. Some of them have. The club hasn't won the trophy in 6 years. Yeah, we got to a final, lost on penalties because the manager been making substitution in 120 minutes. That is how far we have come. This guy in 8 months has literally changed the culture of players pointing, gesticulating, blaming each other. You should have been here. You not taking responsibility. Players being proactive instead of being instead of players being proactive, they're being reactive. He has changed that, and he's still changing. He still says there's work to be done. I need signings. It's all he's asking for. But can these buffoons deliver it? We will wait and see. Eric Ten Hag has had a great season. His first manager, if you look at it, right? Look at it. People say, "Oh, you see, this is what I keep saying, right? Talk is cheap. Some players, even who was this? I think it was Jim White. If you all know, if you guys in the UK used to watch Sky Sports, because back home when I was watching Sky Sports, Jim White used to be on Sky Sports. Jim White, Sky Sports. He's now on Talk Sport Radio. He said Ole lost 6 games in his first season. 8 games in the second season, and Ten Hag was lost 9 in the season. Is Ten Hag not a worse manager than Ole? And you ask yourself, is this guy taking the piss? But it is coming from a guy who's clueless. Jim White should knows. If he knows his football as he claims to say, I respect Jim White as a journalist. But you gotta look at it this way. Ole drew so many games. Ole's own was just draw. Draw, draw, draw. That's why we never got anywhere. We draw. Draw doesn't mean you win. So that's why his ratio was less of losing, because he always drew. He drew more games than win games, or drew more games than lose games. And Ole, who knew the club from the back of his palm, back and forth, should have known better. He needed to instill a winning mentality that, listen, when you go there and play for MANUTD, you need to lift a trophy. But when you come out saying it's not about winning trophies, what do you think the players going to do? They're going to, we don't need to play all these games. We don't. It's not about winning trophies. It's about finishing second. Oh, being in top 4. Oh, winning at the new Arsenal. Get the fuck out of it, mate. But Ten Hag is not thinking that way. He's thinking, I need signings. I need to change the attitude. I need to change the winning mentality. I need to keep the high standards that he said he learned from Alex Ferguson. High standards. This club cannot be going out of a trophy for 6 years. That's just not us. It's not Man United. And this guy, August, September, October, November, December, January, February, March, April, May. In 10 months, he's taken us to third. Won us a trophy we haven't won in 6 years. Added extra 15 points from what we won last season. Last season, we got 50 now. We didn't get 60. And you're going to another cup final. If that is not progress, I don't know what to tell you, mate. If that is not progress, I do not know what to tell you. Arsenal fans are saying, oh, they're laughing. You're clapping. We're still higher than you. Yeah. Arteta's been with you, what, 3-4 years now? Led the league table from week 3 and choked and bottled it. And you have the audacity and effrontery to say you did a better season. If we win an FA Cup, if you ask us now, right? Look at it this way. Arsenal came second, right? We won a Carabao Cup and we come third. It's a better season than Arsenal's. Arsenal got knocked out of all the trophies. Said, oh, they had bigger fish to fry. So the award of bigger fish to fry goes to them. The award of bottling, the Butler Award goes to them. Chokers Award goes to them. If we win the FA Cup and the Carabao Cup and come third, it's a fantastic season by all standards. No one remembers who comes second. I keep telling you. Even the days we came runners up to Blackburn in 95, runners up to City in 2012, Alex Ferguson used to say. And when we came second to Arsenal, 98 season, when we bottled it, yes, we bottled it. In 98, we bottled it. We bottled it. We were leading the league table. To the last 10, 15 games, Arsenal came and round our feet. We had Teddy Sheringham and Andy Cole. It was a team that was good. They had just won. Eric Cantona had just retired the season before 1997. So United got Teddy Sheringham, who was trying to find his way. He wasn't Eric Cantona, but he was a very intelligent player. But we lost to Arsenal, and we bottled it. We choked in 1998 season. We lost to Arsenal in the league title chase. We bottled it, and that was a great United team. Then the following season we go do the treble. That tells you something. It tells you the attitude, the winning mentality, and the standards required and set by Alex Ferguson. He said no one remembers second. They only remember the winner. So if we come third with a trophy, that's a successful season because we have a trophy to show for our achievements in a season. Everyone's saying Carabao Cup. Can you win it? Why didn't you win it? It's a shit cup. What, do you win it? When you won it, it wasn't a bad cup, right? It's funny how these fans talk a lot of crap. It's only the Carabao Cup. Uh, what you won it? When you won it, it wasn't a bad cup, right? But just because it's not what you want to win now, it's a bad cup. You bigger fish to fry. Yeah, the bigger fish to fry award goes to AFC. It is what it is, mate. But I digress and go to some more positive attributes of this Eric Ten Hag track. So I'm going to summarize what Eric Ten Hag said. You guys, thank you so much for joining me. I really appreciate it. Please smash a like and please subscribe to the channel. So Eric Ten Hag had this fantastic interview. I'm just going to summarize it. He had this great interview. What I did, we dissected everything. I missed that one player he talked about. We're going to talk about how he had this great interview with um, Henry Winter from the Daily Times. He sat down to talk about the season so far. I think the interview was literally, I don't know if that was earlier or it was done just yesterday or the season, the day. I don't know when it was done, but it looked like it might have been done a bit earlier, you know. I think it was done a bit earlier. That's my take. I think it was done a bit earlier. So he was asked about Mason Greenwood. He said Mason Greenwood is a very good player. He's capable of scoring. He scored 36 goals in 136 games. It's not his choice. It's not. It's not up to him if the guy plays and stays in the club. He talked about Marcus Rashford. He said Marcus Rashford has had a great season. We had to change his culture. We had to change his fitness. We had to change his motivation. This is a guy who scored 5 goals last season. We remember him and Lingard walking in games like they were walking the dog down the park. It was that bad. No motivation, could not be asked. They run, they don't chase. The culture could not be asked. He even had the audacity to say, I will be looking. And the funny thing, Randy didn't even play him. Randy just put him on the bench like, listen, your mentality stinks. He had the audacity. I need to look at my options. Get the fuck out of it. Like, you're going to go to Boston. No one. So he talked about that and how Marcus Rashford has improved. That the goal scoring burden needs to be shared. That he needs players to also he needs a striker. So he's talking about a striker. We all know he's a big fan of Harry Kane, who is Premiership proven. He needs a striker, a proven striker, and I think Harry Kane be a perfect fit. I really do because we saw chances that Workhorse was missing. You're like bloody hell, mate. You don't score with your head. You don't score on the ground. Where the hell do you score with, mate? Then he talked about transfers. He talked about the players we brought in. He talked about Anthony Casemiro. Casemiro has been fantastic. As United fans, I think that's my United. To me, I think that's United's best signing of the Casemiro and um, Martinez have been my players of this my signings of this season. He said they were great summer signings, but we did nothing in the winter transfer window, while other clubs did, and that was what hindered United going further. So he just had to make it work. We got Sabitzer, we got Butland, we got Workhorse. We all know where that led to. And at this point, you have to be competitive in these windows. He summarized the transfers by saying, and I know he was talking to the board. I know he was saying, sending a message to the people above, Arnold and his cohorts and his cronies and the owners. I need signings. And those three words mean a lot. Those are deep. You talk about De Gea. The De Gea part was quite funny. De Gea who's just won best shot stopper of 2023 season, which means the goalkeeper with the most clean sheets. Yeah. Better than Allison, better than Edison, better than every other goalkeeper in the Premier League. Harry Ten Hag was asked about him. He said it's not what he wants, it's what top football demands these days. The biggest teams have to be able to play from the back. The goalkeeper is used as a plus one. It's not more just 10 players outfield. The goalkeeper is an 11th player. It's so simple for a goalkeeper just lob the ball up front and the ball come right back. Because if you're centre forward, if you don't hold the ball up, the ball is coming right back and it puts extra pressure on yourself. So what he's saying, top football demands nowadays, today's football, a goalkeeper needs to know how to play from the back. The girl will be here next season. He said the girl will be here, which means contract signed, all agreed. But he might not always be my number one. Now that, my people, family, is deep. Because a club this size needs competition always. Every position needs a double, which means I will be getting another goalkeeper who could kick the ball, play from the back as football demands today. He's going to be here, but he's not always going to be my number one. Oh, my Lord. This guy, he's a genius, mate. He is an absolute genius. That's what I said about De Gea. Then he comes to Harry Maguire, the captain of the club. I respect this guy. He's very professional. He understands his role as the club captain, and he's an international England player. He has high competition, though. He's competed Veron, who has won Champions League 4 times, who's fantastic. That alone, people, is like, oh shit. He's literally saying, Harry, you're a professional, but I have someone who's won Champions League 4 times and is fantastic. It's your choice. You train very hard. You're a professional. I respect you. It's your choice if you want to stay here and be a squad player. You ain't going to be ahead of Veron or Martinez or even Luke Shaw or even Lindelof. Now that takes the biscuit. Absolutely takes the bloody biscuit. So, Harry, it's up to you. You'll be there, but you ain't starting. That was deep. That was deep. Then he talked about the Brentford loss, that defeat was painful. He says sometimes he doesn't, when games are played at evening, he has enough time overnight to think about them, and he's thinking. He tries. Alex Ferguson used to say, there's this thing Alex Ferguson used to say. When you lose a game, I tell my players, make sure you don't lose the next game back to back. There was one season, those of you who remember, I will tell you this. I went to watch Man United when we played Newcastle under it was Man United against Kevin Keegan. Keegan was the Newcastle manager. Those of you who know, you know. A little story. Drove down Newcastle up north. That's bloody far from London. Sat with the Newcastle fans. I couldn't get a ticket for the United. I had to stay with the home fans. I didn't wear a United shirt. I just wore a black shirt, black jacket. We lost that game 5-0. We got beaten 5-0. Alan Shearer, Les Ferdinand, they dismantled us. And I remember that statement that Kevin Keegan said, you are witnessing the new Premier League champions. 5-0. We got hammered 5-0 by Newcastle. 5-0. The following week, we went to Southampton. I didn't go to that game. We got beaten 6-3. United were wearing the grey shirt. They said they couldn't see Charles because it blended into the background, or however you want to call it. We had Eric Cantona, David Beckham, Andy Cole. We had these elite players. Five-0 it was. Then Roy Keane, we all that. We came back and won about 16 games in a row. He put it in the head. You will lose games, but you will lose games with a fight. Get this fixed now. When you wear that badge, you will go there fighting, not just like a damn squid and just sit there, get your trousers pulled down and get your bottom spanked. None of that. We won the league title that year. When that statement came in, I would love it. I would love it. I would love it if United get beaten by Middlesbrough. We went there and won the league title. That's a famous quote by Kevin Keegan. Ferguson just wound him up. He just lost it. But this is the situation. when you have great players, a great team, it's like you see the City team now. I hate to use them as comparisons. They are the standard. They've built a winning culture. No trophy is too small to compete for. No trophy is too big to compete for. They compete for all trophies. Yes, they're trying to get the trophy count high. Yes, they won the league title five out of 6 seasons. That's deep. That's a lot, mate. That's great. Carabao Cup. I think they won 5 out of 7. FA Cup 2. They dismantled, destroyed, terminated, obliterated, decapitated, and decimated Real Madrid. It was an embarrassment. Even Ancelotti he looked like an idiot. He looked like a novice, a guy who just thought. And Ancelotti is a fucking great manager. But it shows how good this City team are. They want trophies. They want to make history. They've created a winning mentality for themselves. So they want to make sure they win trophies. Two teams stand in the way of destiny. Manchester United on June 3rd, Inter Milan on June 10th. When Eric Ten Hag asked, and he said it after the Fulham game, we go to Wembley and try and get that trophy. It's the fans want to stop Man City winning the treble, but we want to create our own era, our own winning mentality, our own winning philosophy, our own dynasty. Because Alex Ferguson's first trophy was in 1990 FA Cup. We were fighting relegation that season. They used to make a joke. Oh, United lost at home again this week. We were that bad. We were that bad. Did you guys know people were saying Alex Ferguson out in 1990? It was Fergie out. But the FA Cup, United played every single FA Cup, all the FA Cup matches from third round to fourth round to fifth round to sixth round to up. Only semi-finals are played on a neutral ground. All the games we played were always away. And we got through by a Mark Robbins goal in my Nottingham against Nottingham Forest. A beautiful pass from Mark Hughes, and Mark Robbins was there to put the goal in. We played Newcastle. Brian McClare scored both goals, and we got to semi-final. We played Oldham, and we were about to lose that game to Mark Hughes and Brian McClare together. McClare being the assist, and Mark Hughes taking us with the last gasp. So you see that winning mentality of never giving up, and Ferguson instilled it in the team. You fight to the end of the whistle. You see, always touching his time like, listen, get it going, boys. You need to get this shit going. That was how he trained his players' mindset. And the match, and those were the days where FA Cup semi-finals used to have replays. Now, because of the fixture congestion, they don't do replay. It has to be penalty shootout, blah blah blah. We drew 1-1 Oldham in the semi-finals. Replay, we beat them 4-0. Then we went to Wembley and played Crystal Palace. United were leading. Crystal Palace had Ian Wright. Ian Wright came on us. The funny thing was, Man United were managed. I'm going to give you guys some history now. Man United were being managed at the time. Crystal Palace were being managed by a guy called Steve Coppell, who played for Manchester United in the 70s into the early 80s. He was the manager of Crystal Palace at the time. Crystal Palace had this strikers called Mark Bright and Ian Wright. They was called Wright and Bright. Very good players. Very good players. They did what they did. United at the team, we had our goalkeeper in goal then was Jim Leighton. Mike Phelan was the right back. Uh, did we have Dennis Owen at the time? No, we had Lee Martin. We had Steve Bruce, Gary Pallister. Brian Robson was still the main man at United. We had Mark Hughes, Brian McClare, Danny Wallace, and who was on the left at the time? Giggs wasn't in the team. Was still very young. I can't remember who played. I think Lee Sharp. I think it was Lee Sharp. I can't try to remember. It was 1990. So, but that and Paul Ince. So that team in 1990 was Alex Ferguson's very first trophy. The game ended 3-3. The first match, we had to do a replay and 1-1. Lee Martin scoring the winning goal in 1990. That Alex Ferguson's first ever trophy for Manchester United, and we finished fifth to the bottom. We finished fifth to the bottom. We just barely made survived. We didn't ever. We did not Everton. We didn't need to survive on the last day of the season. We survived 3 games earlier to secure Premier League state. It was still called the Division One at that time. But in 1990, his first trophy was FA Cup. 1991, because when you won FA Cup, you went into a tournament called European Cup Winners' Cup. We went in there, we won it, beating Barcelona 2-1, 2 goals from Mark Hughes. 1992, won the Carling Cup, then was known as the League Cup, no Carling Cup. Brian McClare scored the goal, making it so 1990, 1991, 1992. So trophies were coming in. So that winning mentality, the players were getting that feel of the penalty, the winning trophies. That mentality was built. Then 1993, United's the league had changed from Division One to the Premier League. That's when numbers were put on back of player shirts. It had changed. The whole culture had changed. United hadn't won a league title in 20 years. Up to that point, 26 years, United waiting for a league title. As Ferguson brought in Eric Cantona, and the whole landscape changed. We won our first league title in 1993. So they won a trophy in 1990, 1991, 1992, 1993, 1994, won the double FA Cup and Premier League. 1995, we lost both, went to FA Cup and lost to Everton 1-0, and we lost the league title to Blackburn. 1996, we came back with the double. So you see, when you lose, you bounce back, you come back. 1996, won the double. 1997, won the league title. 1998, we lost everything to Arsenal. Arsenal won the double that year. 1999 came back the treble. 1990, 2000 the league title. 2000. So there was that consistent winning, winning and winning and winning. That was the philosophy and the culture that Alex Ferguson had instilled in these players. Even though he built so many teams, he phased out players. There was Steve Bruce was the manager, was the captain of Man United at a certain time. When Brian Robson retired, Steve Bruce became the captain. But he got phased out because United was now grooming Ronnie Johnson and Jaap Stam, and those were the pinnacle, the pin of his defense, the heart of his defense. Irwin on the left, a right-footed defender playing with his right foot on the left side, a very great defender. They had Paul Parker and Gary Neville, who eventually took over from Paul Parker. Paul Parker was one of the best man markers in the business back in the day. So the point I'm making here is he built great teams. He phased out players when he knew you're coming to the time of you're coming to end of your era. So someone was always coming behind you. So he wanted players to realize, don't get too comfortable. I want there's someone right behind you. Class of '92 were right there, rolling off the belt, right there. But over the last couple of years, a lot of United players have become so complacent. They play the same games. They lose, they never get dropped. They lose, they never get dropped. They keep playing week in their first week players because there was favoritism there. There was a bias there. But this guy Ten Hag says this: you don't play well, you ain't playing. You don't play. You don't play what I expect of you. You're not gonna get a starting lineup. That's why Harry Maguire is being phased out because he's not good enough. He says, he has a hard competition with Veron, who is fantastic, who has won 4 Champions Leagues. That is deep. That statement there says a lot. If I were Harry, I like, you know what? This guy has literally just dissed me. It is not a diss. It's the truth. It's the reality. Veron is a better player. Veron is proactive, not reactive. 4 Champions League winner and a World Cup winner. It ain't cheap, ain't easy. Doesn't it comes with football intelligence. I'm sorry. It is what it is. That's why he said, Ari, it's a decision he has to make. He's literally saying, diplomatically, you've been the squad, you're a good professional, you're trained well, but you're not starting. You come in and fill in gaps, Yeah, but Bentley, Porsche, Ferrari, Lambo, Ford Fiesta. It is what it is. But ladies and gentlemen, thank you for watching our show today. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe. We were really just talking about Eric Ten Hag's interview with Henry Winter in the Times, where he talked about it. And he talked about Wan-Bissaka. He also, yes, before I forget, he talked about Wan-Bissaka. He did say He was asked about Wan-Bissaka. He said, when Wan-Bissaka, he said at a point, Wan-Bissaka's lost his way. Because if you guys remember, Ole always played Wan-Bissaka. Wan-Bissaka could not cross a ball to save his life. He could not. I remember one time there was a ball running out to play. Ronaldo sprinted, did the Usain Bolt, back heeled the ball back into play. Wan-Bissaka runs down the wing, crosses the ball behind the goal. Everyone's like, bloody hell, mate. Really? After all that, this is all you could do? Wan-Bissaka is not the greatest cross of the ball. Wan-Bissaka doesn't offer a lot going forward. That's why Delo was given more opportunities by Reinik. And um, um, Ten Hag saw that Delo is more advanced player. Dalo could put a ball in the box. Dalo can shoot. Dalo even scored a goal this season than Wan-Bissaka. Wan-Bissaka is a better tackler of the ball, but Dalo is a better mover of the ball. If United playing a high press, Dalo's your man. If United going to sit deep, Wan-Bissaka's your man. You know what I mean? So he did say he had to change the way you see, what Ten Hag is trying to say, what works for one player might not work for another player. He's saying he had to change Wan-Bissaka's culture of thinking. He had to change his belief, his fitness, his way of playing. And that's what brought the best out of him. Because you see, and I'll say this, under every Ten Hag, right, players have improved, which we never saw. If you look at, I think under Louis van Gaal, Rashford and Martial improved. Under Mourinho, stagnancy. Ole, stagnancy. Eric Ten Hag, Dalot. Who else? Not a lot. Not a lot. So these players, Ten Hag has brought the best out of even Martial. He brought the best out of Rashford, brought the best out of Dalot, brought the best out of Wan-Bissaka, brought the best out of Lindelof, brought the best out of Luke Shaw. Yeah, and he compliments his players. When we lose together. When we win together. He's trying to. There was one time Luke Shaw won man of the match. Instead of Mourinho giving Luke Shaw the compliment, he said, yes, he played well physically, but I was in his head mentally. I'm bloody hell, this guy. This guy was on another level. Ten Hag is in control. I am in control. I control my emotions so my players can see that it filters down to them in reference to what Alex Ferguson used to say. When I'm not happy, they know when I'm not happy. They need to get better. And when I'm happy, they can see it. They can see my emotion, but I control my emotion so the players can understand me. On that note, ladies and gentlemen, Erik Ten Hag is an asset and may he live longer, may long live his legacy to continue to take this club forward. Because we needed this guy. I mean, I don't think Poch would have done a great job as this guy's done. And you know what I talked about FA Cup was funny? He said he won the FA Cup in 1993, which was 1983 was that is 40 years ago. 1983 FA Cup final, we beat Brighton 4-0 after a 2-2 draw. We played Brighton, we played 2-2, and if anybody never seen that game, there was a pivotal part of that game. A statement called Smith must score. Man United were playing Brighton. United scored by a striker called Frank Stapleton. Then a beautiful goal thought was going to be the winning goal by Ray Wilkins. He's passed away now. Very great player, Ray Wilkins. Very great player. Then Brighton equalized. Then they had an opportunity. I think it was the last minute of extra time. 1-on-1 with the goalkeeper. Gary Bailey was the United keeper at the time. 1-on-1. And Smith must score. I literally closed my eyes like, oh shit, it's in. The ball got stuck in the goalkeeper's legs, and that was it. That opportunity gone. In the replay, United beat them 4-0. A goals were from Norman Whiteside, Brian Robson, Captain Marvel scored 2, Norman Whiteside, and Arnold Murin, who was a Dutch player. And Erik Ten Hag mentioned him that seeing a Dutch player play for Man United in an FA Cup in 1983 was an inspiration. Like, he knew how big this tournament was, because FA Cup is the oldest cup competition in this world. If you never knew, you know today. This FA Cup is the oldest cup competition in the world. It's been on for centuries. To win it at Wembley is any club's dream. I don't care what anyone says, oh, league title, Premier League. FA Cup, when I was growing up, was the number one trophy. Yes, because of money now, it's now dropped to number three. But to win it is prestigious. To win it is prestigious. And he says, seeing a Dutch player scoring that cup final for Man United, he wants to be a Dutch manager. Ten Hag, Louis Van Gaal won it. And even Louis Van Gaal Louis Van Gaal did say, watching that tournament as a kid growing up in Holland, he realized it's a beautiful trophy. So it was an achievement for him to lift that trophy as a manager. So Eric Ten Hag knows a manager who done it, a fellow Dutchman, and a fellow native in Arnold Muren who won it as a player in 1983. Louis Van Gaal won it in 2018. No, 2016. 2016. 2016? Yeah, 2016. Yeah, before Marino, 2016. Yes, 2016. So he wants to win the FA Cup. He wants to build his own legacy. He wants to build his own winning team. He wants to build his own era for Man United going forward. Because, like I keep saying, and he understands what Alex Ferguson said, winning mentality is everything. Winning trophies is everything. Man United winning trophies is everything. We are not qualified for top four and a good. No, nobody remember. If you're not winning the league title, then that no one remembers you. See what I mean? So that is what he's trying to say. And that interview was beautiful. And I want to thank you guys for joining me on this journey to dissect what he talked about. And like I said, it was a great interview that he had with Henry Winter of the Daily Times. And we as United fans have to respect his vision and his mission. And we believe he could beat City on Saturday. I'm going to use this opportunity to read out some of the comments from people. While you're watching, please don't forget to subscribe. Thank you very much. Where is this? Hold on, baby. Drag this here. So let me see this. Right. Okay. Glory, Man United. Thank you very much. Was good. Thank you so much. All right. Wolves change rivers. I got the shirt. Thank you so much, guys. Wolves change rivers. The mainstream media don't like Eric and Hag. Very true. That's very correct. From that's Wolves change rivers. Thank you very much for watching our channel. Thank you very much. He also said Eric is definitely the fan's choice and the best man for a job. 100%. I agree with you, mate. You are so much correct. Thank you so much for commenting on our channel, and thank you so much for please subscribe if you haven't subscribed to our channel. Thank you so much. This is also from Bang Bang Pat for Life. On the minute we lost to City 6-3 and 7 to Liverpool to the culture. Doesn't really. Totally gone, mate. Yeah, I get it. Yes, we got beaten by Man City. Yes, we got beaten by Liverpool, but we did not let that define our season. Yes, those heavy defeats astronomically, like I told you. In one season, we got beaten by Newcastle 5-0 and 6-3 by Southampton. We still went on to win the league title. But when you lose to your closest rivals, Liverpool 7-0, that will always be painful and be the back of United fans' minds. That my cup of tea is cold. That it's not a United side. We can't be allowing that. So he had to change that mentality that you can't be losing 7-0 to Liverpool. I mean, we will never forget that. That was horrendous, mate. Horrendous. You know, we under Alex Ferguson, we got some heavy stinkers. There was one game Chelsea. We had the goalkeeper called what's his name there? Oh God, Taibi. We got smashed 5-0 at Stamford Bridge. I like bloody hell, mate. It was humiliating. It was humiliating. We've got some stinkers under Alex Ferguson, but you know the funny thing, he always turned it round because people forget it because probably the end of that season we always had the trophy to show for it. That's the difference. When you lose heavily and you have nothing to show, it's more exposed. We got humiliated by Liverpool last season under Ole 5-0 at Old Trafford, at home, at home. But what did we have to show for it? Nothing. 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 Liverpool beat us home and away 5-0, 4-1. That's 9 goals. Is what it is, mate. So let me finish reading out these comments. Hammy, thank you very much. Did you see Martial's injured foot? No, no, mate. No. I have to check that, Hammy. Thank you so much. Hamid, how are you? I'm fine, Ty. Thank you so much. Going to the game this Saturday. Oh, great on you. Please take pictures and send it to us. Please, we really appreciate it. Send some pictures to us. Let's share. Enjoy your Wembley day. Guys, just read. I got breaking news that Van der Sar has stepped down as the technical director from Ajax. I don't know why he did. I'm not going to tell you, but I just saw the breaking news pop up on my screen that Van der Sar has stepped down as the manager, technical director. Does that mean he's available for Man United? It would be great, but I have this feeling of he's going to do a better job than what's his name? Bloody oh shit, man, his name, man. He'll do a better job than oh God, what's his name? Darren Fletcher. He'll do a better job than Darren Fletcher because he had the experience. We can't keep having the old boys club, All right, mate, I'll give you a job and you're gonna learn on the job. No, no, we're not. We done that. It did not work out. Let's get people who know the job, have done the job, are successful at the job, have the experience. The OJT, we done that. It did not work out. So let's just put the on-job training to one side and let's just get the people who know the job. Mr. Mitchell's been done, Van der Sar's been great in doing that job as a technical director. So let's get people who know the job. Let's put round pegs in round holes instead of putting square pegs in round holes that never fit. And that's where this problem has been this club. We keep trying to fit round pegs in square holes. No. Round, round, square, square. Bloody hell. Hi, Terry. Going to the game this Saturday. I'm reading your comments now. Thank you so much. Please send the pictures. I really appreciate you guys. Send us the pictures. I mean, I haven't been the last time I was at Wembley. Let me think. When was the last time I went to Wembley? I was there for the '96 Cup final against Liverpool. I was there '99 against Newcastle. 04 from Millwall game. I was at that game against Millwall. I couldn't get the Arsenal game ticket the following year when we lost on penalties to Arsenal. I couldn't get those tickets. Nah. Well, when I was living in London, I was always M1, just drive that M1 down to M6 to go watch Man United. Was an opportune, back in the day when you just put your mates in your car, just hit the road and don't even have a ticket, but you're gonna buy a ticket, someone send tickets outside the ground. You know what I mean? Those days, things have changed, but it is what it is. But guys, thank you so much for your comments and your time listening to this channel. Don't forget to subscribe if you're new. It's been an absolute pleasure. I hope you guys enjoyed the show today in reference to Eric Ten Hag talking about what he thought about United. He talked about Wan-Bissaka. He talked about De Gea. That was deep. He talked about Maguire. That was even deeper. He talked about the club's culture, the direction. He talked about Mason Greenwood, which is, the Mason Greenwood one is still very, very, very difficult to call because when I've done three different polls in three different chats, and the chats all came back to say they don't want. 70% said they don't want Mason Greenwood back in the club. It's not our call; it's the club's call. I think now that the season's over, they'll have time to further decide if this guy should come back because some players don't want him back because of the culture. It is what it is. It is what it is. I personally would say loan him out, let him go, get him back into the football thinking, and deal with all that. Then bring him back in. He's only what 20, 19, or I don't know. He's still under 21, so he's still got time, mate. But apparently, he told some of his mates he's never going to play for the club again. All right, whatever you decide, mate. It is what it is. But I've enjoyed this show talking about Eric Ten Hag. I mean, he's a great manager. He's very good. He's smart. He's intelligent, and he's very diplomatic in his speech. Like I said earlier, he will say this and say, "These are the reasons I'm saying this." Harry Maguire is a professional player, but his competition is Varane, who is fantastic, who has won 4 Champions Leagues. That's deep. He's literally saying, "Are you good? I have a Bentley, your Ford Fiesta. I need Bentley." Is what it is. Then De Gea, who won best shot stopper and best clean sheets of the season. I'm not saying I need you to play with your foot. Football of today demands you learn how to play the ball with your foot. Yeah, you're going to be at the club next season, but you know what's going to be number one. So, which means he's looking for another goalkeeper who can play the ball from the back. That's the genius of the guy. Sometimes we have to take our sentiments and emotions out of decisions and go with what the manager wants. See what I mean? He knows what he wants. And I'm going to leave you on that last statement. I'm going to type it. That statement there, I need signings, literally tells you one thing. That's to the board, to those clowns upstairs, to the jokers on the side, the circus upstairs. I need signings. For this vision and mission to be accomplished, I need signings. On that note, people, it's been an absolute pleasure. Thank you so much for joining us today. Don't forget to subscribe and like and share and continue to support our channel and join our community. And we're going to be looking forward to some of you. Please, 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 when Man United play Real Madrid in the summer, they're coming to Houston, where we are. Come and say hello to us. Come and join us. We'll have a cup of tea and have some drinks and chat and take pictures together and have a great time. And subscribe and we chat. All right. Take care, guys. Thank you very much. God bless and stay united. GGMU. I'll see you guys very soon.